Hello, welcome to Discussing Top for December 9th, 2020. Of course, this is our 57th episode. Everyone's having a great day and a great weekend with. Once again, joining me, of course, is Joe Wyrm. Not with us this week. Fortunately, he could not join us, but he will be here. He will be Spirit. Ooh, Spirit.
Hey, stop doing that.
Now, we do have some business to take care of, just because, you know, I am a man of my word and important words, and I did get a donation from Unfunny One yesterday, and as it says on the thing, each donation, each dollar is a pet for Streamcat, so $10, 10 pets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Streamcat struggles. Damien is very happy. Damien, thanks you. Thank you for the pet. I love all of you. Meow. There you go, Damien.
And Stream Needs gets 10 kills.
Will probably pop in around some point today because she was trying to bother us pre-show. Anyway, dive into the docket this week. We have the Great Magic, the designer search for Magic. Third one is up, which I don't for the last one, so it had to have been, you know, before I got back into Magic again.
I don't remember any of them.
I remember one existing and hearing about it long ago. Second one, not so much. But anyway,
well, you're a little more in little Magic stuff than I am, so you probably would know about that rather than me.
Then I want to talk about the Genesys RPG, a new RPG system out by Fantasy Flight, which is a more generic system. 100 Oddities in a Sewer, which is a part of apparently a series of supplementals that you can use in pretty much any game that are meant to put strange things into your role-playing games and help you out. We have a couple of board games to talk about with the new Fallout board game, a cooperative board game, and then Who Should We Eat, a semi-cooperative game where most likely cannibalism will occur.
I would assume the person being eaten would not agree and not be cooperative.
Well, cooperative is in quotations. It's cooperative to a degree. Also,
I have to say,
edible.
With the sewers, there's better be a poop demon.
Probably is a poop demon. Anyway, then we'll hit into the Kickstarter Korner, finish up with our week in tabletop, and we'll consult the table. If you guys in chat have any questions for us, you can figure them out and throw us up there. That's not just for the things we're talking about. That's anything tabletop related. You can do that when you consult us in the table. We'll see if anybody has any questions for us. So why don't we dive into the first one I do want to talk about today, which is the Great Designer Search. So it's gotten started. They're doing it to celebrate 25 years. And effectively what it is, it's apparently this was a fan favorite, but I'm like, meh?
Well, it's saying it's the R&D's first ever Magic design intern.
Yes, which is an interesting thing. It's a 6-month internship at Magic that you can earn. There's like terms and conditions you want to check out. You sign up for it, and you sign up through January 15th. On the 16th, they'll send out everyone that signed up 10 essays where you have to answer each question from 250 to 350 words. You'll have a week to return the essays.
I think we're a little behind on this because what I'm seeing right now, it's saying that 15 finalists were already announced on October 26th.
You might be in Great Designer Search 1 or 2.
Oh, okay, maybe.
There's a link in chat for the thing about Great Designer Search 3.
Oh, yep, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I stand corrected. I was
Yes.
on the wrong thing.
Yes. Then they'll be invited to a multiple choice question test on the 26th of January. The top scorers of those will be invited to take a designer test. The top 8 scorers of the designer test will be contestants in the third Great Designer Search. It will have 5...
And then there'll be a death match.
I know, really. There's apparently going to be 5 designer challenges, one every week. So you have to get through the essay part. Hi, Unfunny One. You missed, but we had Streamcat pets for your donation. I know your donation was because you missed the Patreon for the month, but Streamcat got 10 pets because of it. She got some more pets, too. Just because I like petting Stream Cat, okay? She's adorable.
Stream Cat is awesome.
And she's cleaning herself behind me, but whatever. That's what cats do. Anyway, so apparently what it is there's the essays, the multiple choice, and then the designer challenge, and they're sort of going to use that to cut down eventually to 5 basically designer challenges, one every other week, until they get down to 3 contestants. They're basically cutting it down all the way to 3, and then they're going to fly them all out to Wizards headquarters, where they'll have a day-long sort of event and a final live challenge to figure out which one will be the intern for 6 months.
Stream Cat for intern.
Cat, can you design magic cards? She says yes.
Well, considering some of them that have been designed, maybe.
I'm not saying anything about that.
Maybe.
So apparently, they're like numerous Wizards employees have been discovered through past designer searches. So you don't just take the one? I mean, I guess that's a way that even if you don't win it, maybe you can impress them enough that you...
Right, you still might get your foot in the door somehow.
Yeah. Granted, like, for me personally, I don't know if this would be the kind of design I'd be going for, because I'm not particularly the best at direct card game design, you know?
Well, when they're saying design, are they talking about building the mechanics on the card, or artistry? I mean...
When it comes to design for Magic cards, I'm assuming it's mechanics and card interactions. So it's basically like, we can get the art, we can get the names, we can get the flavor on cards. That's fine. What do the cards do? You know, all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming that's more what designer is, but I'm guessing if we dive into the terms and conditions, they might say more. But terms and conditions are always a confusing mess that... takes... Well, let's see how big they are. Oh yeah, it's pretty decent size. That's not the worst terms and conditions I've seen.
It could be worse. Let's see. Originality. Create and submit materials of Wizards and content.
You have to live in the U.S., you have to not be an employee of Wizards or Hasbro, you have to be 18 years old, and you have to be able to read, speak, and understand English.
Yes.
That's pretty simple. I mean... Granted, I'm sorry if you're a European, viewer. Again, I said this with Gathering the Roll yesterday, but yeah, it's for U.S. folks,
Well, I think that's mainly to make sure you have legal rights to work in the U.S. probably.
Yes, because Wizards is a U.S. company, and I probably don't want to deal with a lot of the problems of trying to hire internationally, because that is a can of worms that they could be dealing with.
Well, especially for an intern position.
Also, I'm not with an intern position. That might mean you need to move to where Wizards headquarters is, into Seattle.
I'm assuming that yeah, that's probably part of it. That you're going to be like working at the company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, balancing the rules is probably the hard. There's plenty of OP things that have occurred. Yeah, Unfunny One is correct though. That's the problem. Yeah. Is like so. What the exact levels of the design intern? Because, granted, I'm pretty sure their design team works on a whole lot of different things. It could also just be, in general, working on some of the settings, too. Coming up with something like, let's invent Ixalan and design it and come up with all these ideas. How about dinosaurs? Cool, dinosaurs. How are we going to do these dinosaurs? I mean... There's a lot to design when it comes to Magic the Gathering.
Right, it could be like overarching set design of, what kind of creatures do we want to focus on, maybe some story about it, stuff like that. It could be too.
Yeah, themes. There's a lot of different things that could be in this job. But what exactly is going to be done, they don't really say. It's design.
Right.
I'm guessing if you want to participate and try it out,
maybe it's clothing design for the characters.
That would be hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. There's like 2 main challenges. So yeah, I guess if you complete the essays, and I guess complete it in a legible and in great manner. You get the exam, which the top 100 exam people
there's a
go on.
yeah, there's a description of the
Hey, the
trials.
the boats from Ixalan weren't bad vehicles. Kaladesh vehicles, terrible. The ships from Ixalan, not bad.
Okay, so you definitely have to know your magic lore, because Trial 2, the test they're going to be giving,
Yeah.
is you have 24 hours to take a multiple choice exam that tests constraints on Magic the Gathering knowledge, as well as their familiarity with numerous elements of Magic the Gathering important to the game design.
Yeah, I mean, that is probably going to be a brutal test, I'm going to say. You know... yeah, let me resend the link. This will be the link to the terms and conditions, actually. Last time I sent the link to the main article. That's the terms and conditions link there for anybody who wants to pick it up in chat. And then you're challenged to design magic cards with creativity, design aesthetics, knowledge of magic, and originality. So I'm guessing you don't need the art, but you could probably describe what the art would be like, which might help it.
You probably do want to have some kind of basic rule text on it, if it have a special ability or something.
A quote might help too, because that'd be creativity. You know, like name, rules text, quote, idea of what the art would be. I mean, that's overall card design. That's doing all aspects of it. And, you know, going to some... And maybe because there's multiple trials, you know, in this part of it, theme between all of your cards might be something that would be interesting in between it.
Bob the accountant. Quote, account for yourself.
Wow.
There you go.
Thank you for that one.
Do I win?
Yes, you win something. What is that? I am not sure what you won, but you totally won it.
A poop demon.
Yeah, really. The wages of internship are expected to be $8,000 a month. Wow.
That's freaking insane. Especially for an internship.
For 40-hour work week.
Yeah,
Estimated...
that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing they want you to live in Seattle, and Seattle's not cheap to live in.
Still, even with that, that's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. What's that?
Well, it is Seattle, Washington. You know, it is California money though. Yeah, Wizards can pay well. Yeah, they're in Seattle. I've seen pictures of their headquarters before. It's a very unassuming building.
That's with the money with the exact that they have. I calculated it. It's $414,923.60 a year.
That's not correct. It's like 8,000 times 12. Cause per month.
No. Oh, per month. Yeah, I did per week. That's why.
Oh my god.
I'm special. This is why I am not the math major and you are. Okay, it's still 96,000 a year.
Yeah.
So for a 6-month internship, that's still 48,000.
I can do some math here. It's about $50. Wait. It's about $50 an hour.
That's what I'm saying.
4 weeks.
That's a lot of money.
4 weeks, 40 hours a week. Hi, Stream Niece. That's 8,000 divided by 160. Is 50 before tax. Whew.
Yeah, technically it's $49.87 an hour.
Aurora, you gotta behave if I'm on stream, remember?
Stream these tickles!
Yeah, really. Please ignore the stream niece that's tormenting me in the background.
Never. She's awesome.
I think she'll play with my hair for a while or something. I don't know.
Don't tie knots.
She can't hear you, fortunately. So yeah. Yeah, you won't have benefits, so you'll have to pay for your benefits. You'll have to take care of that will take care of a lot, because it will be like moving to a relatively expensive city, maintaining the apartment there. So you will probably earn some money for 6 months on there. That's not something that can be denied.
For an internship, though, that's very well pay.
But they have some discretion of adjustment,
well.
They say. And it's an at-will internmentship that they could basically get rid of you if you mess up, kind of thing.
Yes.
You know.
The set that you created is garbage. Go away.
Careful with the hair, girly girl. All right, but it's an interesting thing that they have ongoing now.
Listening.
What's you talking about?
Listening.
Yes.
Pizza Man?
I have no idea what she's saying.
Listening. When you say
Aurora,
listen.
you gotta be careful, quiet when I'm on stream, okay? If you want to be here, you want to be quiet. Why don't you go check out what Pop-Up's up to and see how the snow's going? Yeah, we got snow here. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yay.
Are you trying to knot up my hair or something? I don't know what she's saying.
Just don't use it as a Kleenex.
I'm really happy she can't hear you.
Why?
Because she's giving you bad... Ow! Alright, Aurora, you're like way messing up my hair. Why don't you get going, okay? Or sit on the bed nicely. Either or. We had a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks of peace.
No peace for the wicked, Matt. No peace for the wicked.
Uh-huh. She's tormenting the cat now, I'm pretty sure.
I think I heard that, yes.
I'm pretty sure that this is an interesting opportunity for people that want to check it out that weren't for Magic. And yeah, this is something that they haven't done in a while, and they're doing it for the 25th anniversary. I'm not even sure when they did the last two Great Designer shirts. Magic Great Designer Search. Maybe I can find those dates. First one was apparently 2006, and Designer Search 2.
So 11 years ago, and then
6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Yeah,
11 and 6.
They don't have them very often, so it might be another like 5 or 6 years before they would have another one if they do another one.
Well, it might be just that they want to shake things up and get some new ideas in.
That's true. I mean, I feel like Ixalan was a really great idea, but they had some like trouble with Kaladesh and Amonkhet, you know.
I'm also wondering if like maybe when someone leaves they do that or something too.
Maybe, but I think they have a design team, and they probably have other ways of finding designers too.
I'm also curious how much that the regular card designers make if the intern's making that.
Okay, the cost of living in Seattle is 80% higher than the national average.
Wow.
So that tells you how expensive it is to live in Seattle. So that amount of money might not mean a lot. When you consider like everything else that you'd be like using, it's going to be 80% higher. So if you normally would need like, let's say like in a nice city, $4,000 a month, you might use most of it then.
True.
It's hard to say. But no, man. Yep, Seattle's expensive. It's an expensive city.
That's why you live outside the city and drive in.
Yeah, that's why you live in... Yes. True.
See, you got to be smart about these things.
Smart about them. Anyway. All right, why don't we move on, though, because the Great Designer Search is going on now, and we did want to talk about it, about a little bit of our thoughts about it. It's an interesting thing, unless you have something else you think you want to add about talking about it.
Nope, that's fine.
Okay. So, I do want to talk about, if I can find it, there we go, the Genesys RPG. So, this is by Fantasy Flight, which... Yeah, God. Good example, Google gives us a 2-bedroom apartment is $2,000 a month. Whew.
That's, well, in the area that I'm living in, unless you live in like the place I am, which is a little lower quality, that's probably about double the area right now. Yep. Most places are around $1,000. So that's not completely insane.
Well, again, 80% higher than the average. So if you're assuming you're closer to the average of 1,000 and they're 80% higher, than that 2000, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Genesys is done by Fantasy Flight, who don't actually do a lot of RPGs. I have to say that. I don't remember the last RPG that Fantasy Flight themselves has done beyond Genesys. Though I'm pretty sure they probably have one somewhere in amongst their products that I'm just not remembering. They have a lot of products. But they do a lot more board and card games, it seems like, most of the time.
Yeah.
But, so, we have...
Welcome, new citizen of the Empire.
Hey, Joe! Unfunny One just gifted you a sub.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for the gift sub. And, hey, Joe, you could use the emotes now if you wanted to.
Woohoo!
Ah! They do Edge of the Empire. They do the Star Wars stuff. That's right.
Oh, okay.
So, and the Star Wars stuff is pretty decent. And they do the Legend of the Five Rings RPG. For the Empire! I have to do that, too. So, those are the two main RPGs that I know them for. Star Wars, and, of course... English escapes me for a second, the Legend of the Five Rings, because they've got that now. Genesys is their general RPG system. So it's like, think GURPS, Bessem, how they're very adaptable RPG systems. That's what Genesys is. It's an adaptable one.
I find that interesting considering it has specialty dice.
Yes. I'm thinking they're taking the idea of the specialty dice from what they did with Star Wars, because they had specialty dice there. But luckily, they offer an app for the dice that they have rather than buying them.
Okay.
Now, the thing about this is, yes, it's specialty dice, specialty D8s, D12s, and D6s.
Yes, they call it a narrative dice system.
Yeah. But the thing about it is it's adaptable to whatever genre or setting you want. And that's what's good about it. It's sort of like, you know, GURPS. You could take any of these, like, extra special books and throw them in here, and, like, you're doing GURPS in sci-fi, you're doing GURPS in fantasy, you're doing GURPS in modern day. This is supposed to be that kind of thing where you can adapt it to any kind of setting you want to, which is an interesting idea for an RPG system. It's not a bad one to have, that they're trying to focus on coming up with generic. You know, a good generic RPG system is good. And people are big fans of the Star Wars system they came out with. So having their own dice system that's probably similar, I'm going to guess, to the Star Wars one, because I only know the Star Wars, like Edge of the Empire and stuff, a little bit. I know they've got a whole bunch of weird dice, but I don't know the exactly way that they all work, you know? This seems at least similar, that they have different things, that you have, like, difficulty dice, you have your skills add things, various other things could add and subtract, or give you bonus dice, or dice that I guess would work against you.
Well, it looks like boost is an advantage, the sunburst is a success, and a sunburst with a circle is triumph. So I'm guessing that might be like an auto success or something, or maybe you do something with a bonus, you know, basically you do something better than even usual.
Well, that's the thing here, is I know the triumphs from the Star Wars system, because that's something I remember, that there's a difference between success and failure, and, like, it's effectively like a triumph is a critical hit.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of going for, yeah.
But the thing is, it's a lot different than your normal critical hit. It's like, it's meant to be narrative, so it's like, if I get a triumph, I'm still successful, but also something really great comes in, you know? It's sort of like, you know...
something extra happens.
Because as I recall...
in a good way.
As I recall from watching people doing, like, Star Wars, it's like, say you're, like, having a blaster fight with people, and you're, like, in your ship trying to keep them from boarding, you know, but you can't, like, you're shooting back and forth while they're trying to get on board, you know, keeping them at bay, and you get a triumph, you might accidentally hit something on your ship that automatically has the back, like, go up, so you don't have to, like, disengage to go pull a thing or something, you know?
Right.
To make it easier to lift off, you know?
Yeah, it's something extra special happens. Just like I'm sure if you roll a despair, something bad happens.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically the Star Wars system that they're putting into generics, which is cool. The Star Wars dice system was always kind of interesting, from what I saw of it. Unique is another word for it. So integrating it here and having like the different types of dice too is another one interesting.
It also looks like it's a bit of a steampunk system.
Well, yeah, because you can do. They say like they can have social conflict, magic spells. They basically have a lot of openings for pretty much whatever you want when it comes to archetypes. And if they open it up for having things like steampunk, that'd be really cool too.
One of the things they mentioned is like a steam-powered Zeppelin.
Yeah.
So that's in the steampunk realm, and it even says, a limited adventure, fantasy, steampunk, weird war, modern day, or science fiction.
Yep. Even some post-apocalyptic. I'm really happy that the system exists because again, I like a good general system, and they have a pre-made adventures in the world of Terioth that they have to go along with it.
Cool. Weird war. You could have alternate universe historical settings. You could do Pride and Prejudice with zombies.
Oh God, Pride and Prejudice and zombies, or what is it? Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters.
Yes. Or Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Well, that wasn't part of the same book series. But
I know, but still. It's in that genre.
Okay, so they have like a little actual free adventure, a pre-made adventure you can try out that's linked on the bottom of their news page. So that's cool. Granted, I guess you'd have to have the actual books for it to actually make sense, Yeah. But still.
Well, unless the pre-made adventure may come with basic rules.
Yeah. Wild West with Aliens, I think, has been attempted once in movies and never done right.
No.
Not done right. But if you do it right, it would be awesome.
But you could have the Wild Wild West.
Yes. Can I be Will Smith?
No.
Oh.
You have to be, what the heck is his name?
I have no idea.
The one who kept dressing up as a chick.
I know who you're talking about, but the actor, I don't remember his name off the top of my head because forgetful. John Cleese? No. Dang it!
No, it's not John Cleese.
Damn it! But he was in Ferocious Creatures and A Fish Called Wanda. And that's why I was thinking of him, because John Cleese was in both of those too. Yeah, more giant spiders, except this time instead of robotic, have actual giant spiders.
No. They have to be robotic.
They can be both. Maybe a giant robot spider leading an army of giants. Kevin Kline. A giant robot spider leading an army of giant spiders. That, someone figures out a way to control spiders by making a robot that looks like spiders. I kind of like this idea as better than just a giant robot steampunk spider.
Well, you know where the spider idea came from.
Yes, I know where it came from.
The unfortunately failed, I should say, Kevin Smith version of Superman, because the producer who produced Wild Wild West wanted Superman to fight a giant spider.
Yep.
But that didn't happen. He made Wild Wild West and put a giant spider in it.
Yeah. Well, again, Kevin Smith was only the third writer, and they had two after him. He was the one that came up with the Thanagarian snare beast, i.e. the giant spider.
Well, that was because the producer demanded it. He also demanded that Superman not fly and not wear a cape because it was quote-unquote gay.
Man, that producer was great. And terrible at the same time. That movie would have been so weird, I would have loved it.
No flying, no cape.
Man, that movie. Man, it really should have been done. It should have been done. It would have been so weird. It would have been wonderful. I'm sorry, Nicolas Cage. I wanted you as Superman.
No,
something about
God,
that.
No.
I wanted you as Superman.
Just Nicolas Cage Superman.
It would have been so bad.
Yes.
So bad. Voltron Spider. I like the idea. It's like Voltron, only with spiders. I want to sell someone on that as a game. It's like Voltron, but with spiders.
Spider Voltron, Spider Voltron.
Oh, bless my heart. All right, but Genesys, the RPG system, is of course available now if you want to try it out. It's a pretty cool one. It's pretty interesting, and a new generic system isn't always a bad thing. It might be that if you love the Star Wars system a lot and the dice, and you want to adapt it to something, take Genesys. This is your way to do it. They almost added him. They were a week away from shooting it. They really were.
Yeah, I've seen the test footage of Nicolas Cage in the Superman outfit. He does not look right.
I should tell Scott about Genesys because he wanted to do like Star Wars for a Borderlands, a video game style RPG he was talking about, and using Genesys might be the way to build it.
True.
Yeah, since it is their generic Star Wars system. All right. He would have been a great Lex, though. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can probably see that a little bit, too.
Bruce Willis is Lex Luthor.
Oh, that would be just weird. That would just be weird. Okay. Ooh, Brainiac. I want to talk about 100 Oddities in a Sewer. So it's up for $2 on...
Two ducks?
Two ducks. $2. You have to sell them $2 for it.
Oh no! You should never pick up a duck in a dungeon, and definitely not in a sewer.
$2. So $2 on Drive-Thru RPG, Oddities in a Sewer, and it's part of their Oddities series. So this one company that does them. Okay, let's go back to what this actually is, and then we'll talk about the series about it. 100 Oddities series is basically a universal source book. It's not giving actually any exact rules or anything. It's basically talking about you're going into a sewer in maybe a fantasy setting, a modern setting, even a futuristic setting, whatever you want to do, and adding in unusual elements to your sewers. Whether it's
it's not 100 oddities in a sewer, it's 100 oddities for a sewer.
I'm sorry, for a sewer, yes. So you could be in, like, you know, post-apocalyptic with strange mutants, like modern day with criminals, ancient settings with monsters, you know, whatever you want. They're giving basically information about being in a sewer and having creatures.
They have 8 other 100 Oddities series books.
Yes, they do.
Ranging from Creepy House to Wizard's Tower.
Yeah. It's made to help you do things on the fly, basically, a little bit.
Well, it's to add to an adventure.
Yeah. You know, it's sort of like they give some examples of, like, 71, it's like a gore-covered shovel, the blade of which has been honed sword sharp. The wooden handle has several deep parallel gouges. It's basically, okay, what is this? Why is this being found here, and what does it mean? I do like the idea of it, that because it is a pretty short, small book for $2. It's not bad, and
No.
giving some ideas for pretty much any kind of adventure isn't a bad one, in any kind of setting too. And I guess it's because, like, yes, there's certain ones that are very specific, like creepy old house, graveyard. Like, when we get to things like Wasteland, Thieves Guild, Wizard's Library, Enchanted Forest, Found Car, and a Wizard's Tower are definitely a little bit more specifically time period based, but still interesting enough.
What do you mean? I can't find a car in the Middle Ages?
You could, and there'd be a storyline behind it, probably. More than likely time travel, or futuristic civilization that was lost.
And it may not involve the Evil Dead.
Yes. But that's you're just switching from D&D to Evil Dead to oh, car is pretty much a wagon. Well, okay, fine.
Yeah, true.
It's a magical self-driving wagon. A car. What was it? Our friend.
It's a horseless carriage.
No, our friend came up with a train in D&D, and he called it the Septa, because Septa's our local train line in the northeast here, and it was spontaneous, or no, self-propelled equineless transport apparatus.
Yes.
Self-propelled equineless transport apparatus. I loved it. It's like, wait, what? Oh God. It's Magic Train. You came up with Magic Train. And it was
I want a magic school bus, personally.
Yeah, I mean, then you could go on adventures and complain to this random kid named Arnold who's in there all the time.
Well, and also, now that it's, I was going to say Mrs., but now it's Professor Because she now has a degree, apparently.
Curse of Strahd and Spelljammer are all very good excuses for why Gar might be found.
Curse of Strahd in Spelljammer universe.
Oh my god. Ravenloft in space. It's like Bavaria is floating on like some kind of weird mist-covered asteroid where spelljamming ships come in and never come out.
It's the Bermuda Star Triangle.
Oh my god. I actually kind of love this idea. Combining Ravenloft and Spelljammer. I don't think it would work, but it would be great.
Would that be Ravenjammer?
Yes, Ravenjammer. There's something about it that just sounds awesome, and I'm not sure how it would actually fit really well, but it sounds awesome.
You're welcome, Internet.
Someone probably did something with it out there somewhere. Spelljammer is supposed to connect up with every other one anyway.
Strahd in space.
I kind of want to take the, if we go good old 3.0, take the Pathfinder rules and adapt Ravenloft into, not the Pathfinder rules, the Starjammer rules. So then it could really be Strahd in space.
Instead of an asteroid, he actually has his own spaceship that the city's inside of.
Yes.
He just has a fog machine.
It's a mysterious fog machine which traps people in it. It's like a force field. Ships come into it, into his like capital class warship. The Bavarian.
Is it shaped like a donut?
No. It's
I want a Bavarian donut. How about a pretzel?
I'm sorry, Barovia. Are you happy now? I got it. I got the name right. Anyway, back to 100 oddities for something.
The sewer.
Yeah.
For sewer.
Well, sewer in particular, but, you know, any of them. I think they just have, like, I don't know what the first one is. Maybe creepy old house, maybe just something.
House is the first one on the list.
Space Tarrasque is a wonderful idea because I think someone came up with a picture of it, one of our friends. Because originally they came up with the aquatic Tarrasque, which was a Tarrasque that they kind of photoshopped a scuba tank and a little mask on, and it was great.
Would it be made of seaweed then?
No, it was just it had scuba gear on it. It was aquatic Tarrasque. So like a space helmet and like a back on the thing on the back. It's Space Tarrasque.
We already shot a Tarrasque into space in one game.
That's true.
Where we blew up a moon that had Tarrasque on it.
Also true.
So somewhere out there is a Tarrasque in space.
And it doesn't die from space because it keeps regenerating.
It's like, my existence is hell.
I would Strahd to leave the Borg. Oh my god.
Oh god.
Vampire Borg! Yes! Cyborg vampires! I'm liking this idea even worse. It's great.
We are the Vorg.
We are the Ravenloft. Resistance is futile.
No, you're the Vorg, because you're vampiric Borg.
We can't use Borg. We have to choose
I said Borg with a V.
I still feel like Star Trek and Paramount or Universal or whatever who has it right now would sue us because they're dicks.
Yeah, they are being dicks to the fans right now.
Yeah. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Womp womp womp. Yes, only us two today, James. But welcome. You can join in the chat. So yeah, the Undead Odyssey series is not a bad price for something that might help you out with your RPGs. And sometimes inspiration is all you need. That's like one of those things for me, is that's why I like watching a lot of stuff. I like checking out a lot of TV, video games, movie, because I can always find inspiration and call upon it, and it's more ideas, you know, that you can bring into your mind, that then you could be like, there's that. Shall we allow James to curse in chat?
James, you know better.
I will allow it. It doesn't have... The 100 Odysseys doesn't have its own rule set. It's... and we didn't invite you, James, because it was last minute. Because Discord didn't let me know when Wyrm messaged me back, like, days ago, that he couldn't join. And so I noticed today. So thank you, Discord, for not actually having something show up. as like, hey, check this out.
Well, he could join audio only if he really wanted to.
Since you are our, like, you know, extra guest sometimes. Anyway, but no, the 100 Oddities, it's not made to have any specific rules on its own. That's why it's $2. It's made that it gives you ideas, so that you would have to still come up with monsters on your own. James has been a guest on before. On Funny One.
Rarely.
Yes, rarely. He was one of our earliest guests. And he still occasionally shows up, at least in chat. I play PUBG with him. On stream. So, he counts as a being of existence in the sphere. Granted, he's like super backup.
He is part of the Empire.
Just like, you know, that one there that we don't talk about very often.
Oh god, it just made me think of the gamers.
Oh, I can accept...
He's the barbarian.
Oh yeah, he's the berserker. He's the berserker from gamers. He's Mark the Red or whatever.
Wait, yeah, I think it was Mark the Red. Am I there? Can I go into a berserker rage?
And then he's just like, send Mark in. Blood, death, and conscience. Oh, his character died. Ooh.
He's gonna be upset about that.
But no, oh, yeah, I accept James's cursing because...
We'll hit him with the newspaper later.
Yeah, we'll hit him with the newspaper later. Well, you know, it's not that you're not allowed to curse. It's just, you know, watch your language a little bit, you know? There may be children present. Maybe.
You're only allowed to curse if you're Strahd.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
yes.
Not its own system, it's ideas, so it's basically to get your juices flowing when creating something. For example, like that shovel, which has been sharpened to sword, it's got gore on the end, notches in it, and you find it, I don't know if Twitch would catch you, James, cursing in a different language. And so what is the story about this? You know, you would add in this story, this is an idea that you can take that's unusual, that I could be like, what does this mean? Does this mean there's someone coming back to look for this? Does this mean that, you know, there was someone killing people down here? Is there going to be a serial killer I'm encountering that kills people with shovels?
The Shovel Nata.
Yes.
But the good part about it being generic like that is you can adapt it then to any system.
Exactly. There is an advantage to that. Granted, it means you do need work still, but it's sort of like if you have a little bit of writer's block or you just need something that you don't want to, like, throw a bit of, like, extra creativity in there, you know? It's sort of like,
you're getting something together last minute.
Yeah,
that you weren't expecting. It's like, oh, someone wants me to run something. Let me get some inspiration.
Yeah. Oh, this is a great idea. What can I do with this? Okay, this here, you know. Now they're speaking in languages I don't understand. Chat's gone to communications. I'm pretty sure, is that French? It's French.
Le fromage de temps pantalon.
Sortie and soldes. Sortie being exit and soldes being the Bastille Day sale.
Oh, God. Why do you know that?
Because when I went and visited my sister in Paris like a decade ago, those were the 2 words I picked up while I was there.
Did you at least remember what bathroom is? Because that's more important than exit, I think.
They have a little symbol for bathroom. That's easy to find.
Parlez-vous français?
Yeah. Little symbols for it is a universal sign of things. Mm-hmm.
Parlez-vous anglais?
Anyway. Oh, great. I understand that without understanding that in chat.
Yes.
Alright. But 100 Oddities, it's out now. It's an interesting one. Today is just wonderful. I don't know. Today is like this wonderful day of just ridiculousness. If you want it for some inspiration, you can check it out now. What do you have and don't throw it? Oh, paper airplane? Okay, go ahead and throw it. Hey, you got it on the bed.
What about a banana cream pie?
Quickly, go get it.
So I guess then we are going to... Are we
Fallout.
doing Fallout next?
Fallout
okay.
the board game. Okay, so Fallout is a board game made to, well, God, I don't know if James is being nice or rude, but James is normally like sort of rude, so it could be either.
He's a rude, lewd dude.
Mm-hmm. Because he can be very nice or just sort of rude, and he's doing it in French, so I have no idea.
I have some idea. I don't think he's being very nice.
Of course he isn't. It's James. Anyway, it's for 1 to 4 players, 2 to 3 hours, and it's interesting because I feel like this one, it's a little bit, you can do some replayability, but just because they have scenarios. You build your own survivor with your own special. If you're aware of Fallout, how the skill system is based around 7
strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, luck.
Yes. You have skill tokens. You do level up your skill tokens. You get equipment cards, which I think there's like over 100 different armor, weapons, and other kind of gear and stuff you can pick up. You explore various places. You can go to vaults. There is all kinds of interactions at various places you would go to. You kind of win the game by completing scenarios. There's side quests and certain side adventures you can have as part of scenarios as you're going with them.
Which makes sense.
There isn't any horse armor because it was dumb, and thank you. What was that? That wasn't Skyrim. That was before Oblivion was horse armor.
Ah.
Yeah, the paid mod of horse armor. I have to buy DLC to get that.
Okay.
Influence cards. There's a lot to this game, is a good way of saying it. And I'm pretty sure it's made to have a couple of scenarios with it originally. The exact number of scenarios I'm unsure of, I do have to say.
I totally want to ride a fire ant through the land.
That would be kind of cool. I can't deny that riding a gigantic fire-breathing ant as a mount, you know, would not be a bad one would not be an interesting one to do. They have a 16-page rules guide, of course. You know, surviving the wasteland, choosing your own scenario, going through the various adventures and the components of it. There are scenario sheets that you have, exploring the sort of map as you lay out the 21 tiles, which I'm guessing each time. I think it's more like Betrayal, because you let down like tiles, and as you explore the map, you flip over tiles. So like you might find the same tiles in the same scenario, but it might be in different locations. And traveling across the wasteland has its own dangers. So finding like, oh, this time I found this settlement first, you know, might be good. There are 34 wasteland cards, 21 settlement cards, 20 vault cards for various encounters you have, plastic figures, 100 quest cards.
So definitely replayability.
Yes, and that's beyond the fact that they have 4 scenario sheets that you could be playing. So you choose a scenario, and you go on various different quests in different orders, and because, you know, you're getting different equipment, there's probably going to be some similar themes, you know, and you might go on the same quests here and there again, but it might be a little bit like Betrayal. Sometimes you have the same encounters in it, but, like, I'm sure they're going to come out with more scenarios and other things.
I was going to say that I'm sure there'll be expansions of extra scenarios and such. It looks like there's 2 different types of tiles.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks like there's ones where the backing is like...
You can flip them.
A caution or... Oh, okay.
The caution is like basically unexplored.
Right, and then what about the caution with the red stop sign?
I'm not sure. They just say there's 21 map tiles. I don't know how... Some of them might be special things.
What I'm thinking, maybe that denotes like the challenge of it. Like maybe a green caution is... something you can do at a lower level, and a red caution's like, ooh, that might be really difficult.
That's true. There might be some extra difficulties. They've got their own special VATS dice. That's an interesting one. Perks cards, asset cards, loot cards, agenda cards, faction tokens, because they'll have factions that you'll deal with, traits, quest markers, caps tokens, special tokens. There's a lot to this game.
And it's $60, and the minis look really cool. Now, they're not full painted, but they still are really detailed.
Yeah, I can see the difference between red and green caution. They're both backsides, but I'm guessing the red ones are like more dangerous areas you might explore.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Because you explore, move, quest, encounter, fight, and camp on your turns. Wow. I'm not going to go into details about all the different like actions and stuff, but yeah, it sounds a little bit like Dead of Winter, except I think like Dead of Winter is usually like you have your kind of like cityscape you're wandering in on like a smaller scale, and this is like you're moving your pawn over like a large like map, like it's the Capital Wasteland, or it's the Boston Wasteland, or it's the Mojave Desert, you know, whatever version of it that they're doing with their map. I'm not quite sure. And you have to earn influence, it looks like. So you do have an end of the game that you and your team of people will work together to get. That, like, certain agendas and quests and different things you can do will earn you influence. And, like, if you're 4 players, you have to get 8 influence in order to win the game.
Ah.
As soon as your total of adventure cards reaches this amount of influence, more of the game ends and you win. Okay.
So it could be a quick game, it could be a longer game.
Yes.
They're saying, 2 to 3 hours, 1 to 4 players.
Okay, so it's semi-cooperative. So it is more like Betrayal. None of you are necessarily working together for this one, and you're all...
So it's the first person to get the requested amount of influence.
But you're not, like, working against each other kind of thing. So I'm guessing you could, like, work together for certain things. And each of you has your own agenda.
Right, like maybe if there's a real tough area, someone else can come in to help.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to play Puppet Man. Yeah. As soon as the total value of your agenda cards is the amount of influence or more, you reveal them. Interesting. So, yeah. And there's XP and leveling for more powerful encounters and stuff. The perks decks, various traits, a lot of different things. They have a lot of details that do link into Fallout very well, I have to say. They do a good job of being very Fallout-centric. Definitely. And as someone that's been playing a lot of New Vegas, definitely this entire game does interest me. And $60 is not a bad price for what you're kind of offering here. This seems like a pretty cool one, because it is another one like... being the semi-cooperative definitely makes it more interesting. You still have someone that might be the most influential and win it all, but you're not necessarily, like, you know, pushing yourself too, you know, different to, like, fight against each other directly as much, you know. It's basically you're doing your own things. Maybe there's some stuff to interfere with each other. I don't know. I didn't see any in the rules, but who knows? I didn't read through all 16 pages. But Fallout does look pretty cool. And I think Fantasy Flight did a very good job, I do have to say. So.
Yeah, it looks very good.
I think that's all I have about that one for now. Shall we move on to our last one, which is Who Should We Eat?
James.
It's been decided. Okay, so this is for 4 to 10 players. It counts as a board game. The entire thing is you are a group of plane crash survivors who have, well, crash landed on an island. The way off the island is, of course, to build a raft. But you also have to have players play cards to gather resources, like adding food. Down with Joshua, the dead horses should be destroyed. Look, I haven't made a decision about that yet in my game. I'll see what happens next episode, because that's probably what I'm going to be doing. Adding food, sanity, and wood for the craft. Unfortunately, food is scarce, and people are edible. I love what this comes with. 12 character cards, 100 food, sanity, build, and ghost cards, because apparently you can encounter ghosts. And then 9 long straws and 1 short straw. To draw straws on who you should eat. A wooden conch, and then the board game and markers to track sanity, food, and raft building.
Oh God, there's a card in there called No Pants. You can only play or keep a card, not both. Because you don't have the pants to store it?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. You don't have pockets to put whatever you're picking up.
Oh no, my pants!
Wow. There's just something interesting and weird about this game. That's why I wanted to talk about it. Because it's sort of like it is definitely like a weird, like, what is it they say? It's like unnecessary cannibalism a lot of times. It's like, well, we're getting to be hungry. It's that South Park episode where they kept eating people. And they got trapped in the snow for like 12 hours. And they ate like 7 people. It's that same kind of thing. It's like, oh no, we're trapped. We're going to starve here. What shall we do? Well, that person over there is looking mighty tasty. It's been 20 minutes. But I'm so hungry.
hey now, you know, that could have been a long 20 minutes. Your blood sugar may have dropped.
It is really Donner Party, the board game. Oh, God.
Or Survivor meets Donner Party.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they return to find a ghost who's looking for revenge upon the remaining survivors. In the center...
the ghost might be of the person you ate.
Oh, because the ghosts end up being people they ate, yeah. Ghosts of people they ate. And apparently, like, they try to get revenge. So if your sanity meter fills up too much, then the ghost wins. The survivors are doomed to spend eternity on the island until one remains after eating all the rest of them. So I mean,
then they have to practice auto cannibalism.
So I guess even if you get eaten, there's a way for you to win, because then you're totally a ghost haunting everybody and tormenting them. And I kind of like that. That's an interesting mechanic that actually probably helps add a lot to it. That
I vote for auto cannibalism.
It's never the answer, though. Hi, welcome back.
In a knife fight, you draw straws last. Each other player in the fight draws 2 straws. Pugilist.
Yeah. Oh, and each player has a meat value? Wow.
How much meat do you have?
Yep. Wow, this is such a really interesting and ridiculous game, I do have to say. It does seem like an interesting one. So you have like a morning phase, an afternoon phase, and an evening phase where you reduce sanity, reduce food, and go into the night and maybe have to have the apparently no, I guess it's just the value you have when you're eating at your most deliciousness.
Ooh, a parrot is worth 1 sanity and 1 meat.
So it cheers you up, and then you devour it.
But then a raw shellfish is +1 meat, -1 strength. I think it's a green hammer.
Yeah. So survivors lose, ghosts win. When the sanity track reaches 0 at any point, a new quest cannot be revealed to fill the selection. Or the trial phase begins and there are only 2 survivors. Survivors win when ghosts lose when the build trackers equal number of raft targets at the end of the round, in which survivors do not have to go to trial.
Okay, that's like a real bite.
You broke up there for a second.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was talking about when the survivors win. When they build enough of the raft.
Yes. Don't eat your niece.
God, not you two. James says hi and waves.
Hi, James.
He's in chat, so you can't really. You have to be able to read what he's saying. And
So
Damien says hi. Go ahead, Damien. You can escape.
Yes, you let one player eat a bunch of other ones and then eat them.
Well, apparently you don't want to get to 2 people because then.
Jamesies.
Yes, Jamesies. Because then the ghosts win. If there's only 2 of you left, and then you have to go to trial to see if you would eat the other one. You can't go down to 1 player. It can't be last one standing, basically. You at least have to have 2 people left and then break out.
But I have a pointy stick.
Stream Streets is strangling me.
She's gonna eat you.
Probably. Give me a second. Okay, Aurora. I'm gonna stop strangling me on stream.
Do that off stream, Aurora. You don't want it visual evidence.
Aurora, go to the headphones right now. Aurora, do you want me to get you in trouble with your daddy?
I wasn't having headphones.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to eat you.
Stop that. Aurora, quit it now. Aurora, stop. Aurora. Aurora, right now. Aurora. Aurora. Doing very bad. Aurora, I'm going to go tell your daddy as soon as the stream is done. I've told you to stop now a lot of times, and you're going to get in trouble. You're trying to... You want a timeout? You behave. Sorry.
It's okay. They're just talking about who they're going to eat.
I noticed. James is going for Ollie while you're devouring him, apparently. A fan of farm food, so
Well, I'm going to wait till he eats Ollie so he's then more nutritious, and then eat James.
Well, my hair is a mess again. So, hey everybody, messy hair because apparently Streaming has been playing with it way too much and getting it all, like, tangly. You gotta stop doing that. It tangles up my hair and it's really unpleasant. Stop it, Aurora. You want a timeout? I'm getting tired of it, and you haven't been listening.
Anyway, I think that's enough about who we should eat.
Yes. Why don't we move on to Kickstarter Korner? Sure. There was a whole bunch that came out this week. Did you find out one that you really wanted to talk about?
I was torn between two.
What? Because we don't have Wyrm here. Why don't you talk about both of them then?
Okay. I guess I'll start with, I don't know how to pronounce this very well, so I'm going to do my best.
Is it
Dracovin?
Oh, drink institution. Drink institution. Yeah.
Okay. However you say it.
Yes.
I'll put the link in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much drunk trivia.
Yes.
And I'm all for drunk anything. So drunk trivia is cool. I am a vast knowledge of useless information, especially TV and movies.
Yep.
For some reason, I can remember quotes from a movie that I've seen once 30 years ago. But it looks very interesting. There's
you could probably play sober too. It'd probably just be like a unusual trivia game.
Yes, but drunk's always better.
How did you get your
There's 3 individual decks. Let's see, the main deck, trivia questions deck, the common knowledge question deck. So there's a main deck, okay? Trivia, and common knowledge.
Yep.
You draw the top card of the deck and follow the instructions in the card. If you are instructed to answer a trivia or common knowledge question, then the player to your left will draw the top card of the corresponding deck. Oh, okay, so the main deck, you draw the card, it tells you what's going to happen, and if it's something you have to answer, the person on your left will draw it for you and ask you the question.
Yep. And I agree with Unfunny One. This would actually be an interesting one to play on stream, whether drunk or not, just because, games like this, little party games on stream, are always interesting,
Well, they also have available swag, like a bottle opener, the keychain bottle opener, a can cozy,
mm-hmm.
and a T-shirt that says, "I drink, therefore I am."
Yep. So they have 36 days to go, I'm sorry, and they're about 1/10 of the way funded, so they got quite a little bit of ways to go.
Yeah, they got 22 backers so far, though.
I mean, they've gotten started on it, so hey.
Yeah. It's still early in, and it's, they're at 810 out of 8,000, so they're 10% of the way?
Yeah, they're 10th. So what about the other one you wanted to check in on?
The other one is mainly because I want to make a bad joke.
Uh-huh.
And that's tripods, and triplanes. The War of the Worlds in Wings of Glory. And I so want the humans with the triplanes to be able to shoot...
Yeah, The shirt is bonus stuff, like add-ons you can do on. That's another way that, like, if you want to pledge at a certain level, but you don't want to go to the higher level, but you want to pledge a little bit more money, you can still get something for it. So I've seen other Kickstarters that have done stuff like shirts and things.
Yeah.
But
I still want the triplanes to be able to fire the common cold at the tripods.
So that's 11 days left, and it's doubled their pledge.
Yeah, there was 30,000 was the goal. They're at 63,064.
Yeah.
572 backers. Now, bad joke aside, it actually looks pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a card or maybe it's not card. That's just newspaper headlines they have there. Okay, so it looks like it's a miniatures game.
It's a kind of miniatures game. Apparently, it's based on the Wings of Glory World War I miniatures game itself, and is compatible with it. But it's made to be able to play it alone. Is the important thing to notice about that.
And I know we were talking about this one last night. There's also a way to have tripods versus tripods.
Well,
so two different Martian.
Yeah. They have like a whole bunch of different like packs of different tripods you can have. For 45, you get just the base set, which is fine, and all the stretch goals, which is kind of neat, you know.
Let's see. There's the MKI Locust, the Mark II Scarab, the Mark III Squid, the Mark IV Cuttlefish.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to be in a cuttlefish tripod.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously they've unlocked all the original stretches. They've created more, which are almost the next one for Martian, which is new terrain elements, 2 extra large terrain elements, Martian Pond. Then there's another Martian Earth skill cards, and
the tripod rules are at 70,000, which they probably are going to hit. Because
they have 11 days to go, and they're only 7,000 away.
Yeah. They've done it like because Wings of Glory is something that's kind of been out there apparently that I didn't really know about, but it sounds
I've heard of it, but I've never played it.
But apparently, like, they do have the rules for using the World War II stuff from Wings of Glory in with this also instead of the World War I, which is cool. They unlocked a better game map, a game mat, which was very cool.
Deluxe energy tokens,
and also like a solitaire gameplay, which was a cool one, where you can fly a plane against a tripod with the rules and the components. So, yeah, they've done a lot of cool unlocks, and the thing is, there's a lot of interesting stuff in it. And the starter set comes with a plane and a tripod, 4 tripod control boards, 2 airplane control boards, like maneuverability stuff. Like the base game itself is pretty simple, and it's sort of like 1v1 kind of battle, you know.
Right, that's the Martian. They have the Invasion one, which is $80, where you get 3 tripods and 1 plane. Then the 140, you get you get a whole bunch of planes and 3 tripods.
Plus the original Wings of Glory, you get 2 in there.
And the original Wings of Glory, yeah.
Yeah.
So for 140, you can get everything basically.
Yeah. Yep, and you get a lot of different things. So, and a couple extra small like packs of stuff too. I mean, it's if you want the full package of like everything for the game, that'd probably be the best way to go. The 140, but if you just want a little bit of it, the 45 is all you need to play. You know, that's the thing. It's all you need to play. And you
get all plus all Martian and unlock plus all Martian unlock stretch goals with it.
Yeah. So, it doesn't give you quite all the stretch goals, because I guess they switch between Martian and Invasion, but it's the stuff that's probably most compatible with just the base game, I'm assuming is what it is.
Then, with Invasion, you get all Martian and Invasion unlock stretch goals, and then, of course, for the 140, you get all unlock stretch goals.
No, that's definitely a really cool one.
Yeah.
I was looking at this one and being like, wow. It's an interesting concept of taking War of the Worlds and doing it in a dogfight board game. You know, that's just something I didn't think about having, and I like the idea of it. So,
yeah,
kudos on these guys. Ares Game, who has created 10 other Kickstarters. All right. Now, for me personally, I do want to give out, as I normally do, I like to give out a couple of shout-outs to the Kickstarters I talked about previously, the ones that were kind of cool. I do want to give a shout out to Wanderer, the Cult of Barnacle Bay, because they are technically funded, but they have late pledges open. And that was a cool looking dungeon sort of builder game that you could still put money onto up until January.
Cool.
They got funded by a great amount. So, you know, that's something that if you're interested in stuff like that, that might be really cool to check out. Let's see here. I think I wanna. Which one's like? It's like. Sky Relic's Fleet Corps. Shout out to that one. That looked kind of cool. Of like a 2-player like ship fleet battle game with little miniatures. That was kind of cool.
Cool.
I think I have a call up between the one I actually want to like fully talk about, but the last one I want to shout out to is Whatever. Also because Whatever, it's people in Allentown.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the people are in Allentown.
That's right up by us.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like an hour away from me. I was like, which this was an interesting one because it's like truth or dare kind of game. You know.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's like you can take a challenge or a showdown, and there's penalty cards, and you have to complete a number of cards. So it was an interesting little thing there. Whatever, the party game.
Yes.
But I have
It's only 25 for that one.
Yeah, not a bad
Sorry,
one.
go ahead.
Yes. I think because, again, we don't have Wyrm here, why don't we talk about an extra one? I do want to talk about 2 then also. I'll talk about this one first, which is, again, not quite funded, but the amount... Oh, let me see. No, it got funded then. Okay.
Which one?
I had to refresh it. Camphonarum, the role-playing game. When I talked about it yesterday, it was like $150 away from being funded. Now it has. So it's basically Arabian Nights, the role-playing game.
They're like Arabian Days.
There's a joke about that somewhere in here. I remember reading. Someone made that joke already. Yeah. So they have quick start rules.
Oh, it's an easy joke.
Yeah. They have quick start rules. Always a cool thing that a lot of people like to put out.
Oh, they have a free quick start PDF, yeah.
Yeah. Those are always great to get. Let's see here.
Well, that's really nice because then you can like get a general overview of the system before you decide. Oh yeah, I'm into this. I'm going to pledge.
Yep, they have a whole bunch of stretch goals of adventures, full color books, stuff like that, which they very well could get. They do have some campaign bonuses for like number of backers and things like that, and all that other stuff. And effectively, what it is it's Carfanarium. Tales of the Dragon marked. Let me put this. If you're interested in any of those other ones I sort of mentioned, I'll put those in Gathering the Roll, which should be up later on today. It's going to be in the link in their description. All the rest of those. And it's basically a kind of fantasy game set in Arabia, in the Middle East. You know, it is the classic Sinbad-based adventures kind of thing. And that's always a very fun thing to do.
Sin bad. I think it's sin good.
So if that was pretty
awful.
That was pretty awful. Yeah, that was pretty awful. That was certainly something you did there, Joe.
I am puntastic.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Thank you for that one. You called it. It's a D6 system with dice pools, so it is effectively Shadowrun system. Is a great way of saying it, because it's a you know, you have your stats and you put together, you know, numbers of D6s, roll them together, modify the pool, kind of with but they have a semi kind of roll and keep mechanic to it also. Flexible skills and attributes to roll against various difficulties, resolving the levels. So the system, again, it's a little bit reminiscent of Shadowrun just because that is a D6 system, but with a very different kind of setting, along with its own, it is a 400-page book, kind of the core that they're going to have, and they're planning a couple other books to it, and more to come. There's a lot of it, and for 30, I think those are, what's the weird L thingy?
Pounds?
Pounds? Okay. For £30, which is $40 US, you get the core rulebook printed and PDF. For £15, which is $20, you get the PDF. Yeah. And you get all the add-ons for the $40 though too, as I put them out. All the bonus things that they get, all the access to all the add-ons, and all the other things that they unlock sort of as they go on. Apparently they have something like they have like really expensive ones too. As usual, most places have like they get up into something that's ridiculously priced.
Or they have the 500-pound one, which is Core Art Master.
Yeah.
Oh, get yourself drawn as a character in the game. Yep. Core book.
Mm-hmm. You want to be an NPC in the book? £500, which is $669 US.
Yep.
Whew. A background story on your character, NPC stats for your character, playable PDF character sheet for your character, high res digital artwork of your character, the core book in hardback, the core book in PDF, every unlocked book in print, every unlocked book in PDF, and your name on the backer's credits.
That's awesome.
It's still way expensive. Than
that's very expensive, but it's like you put your mark in there.
Yes, I think that is one of those things, is like, if you really want you mark in the book, this is the way to do it. And one person's actually gone for it.
Wow.
Power to them. If you have that amount of money and this is something you really love, then that's what I always say about Kickstarter. People sometimes pledge those big amounts, and if you have the money to do it and it looks like something really cool, do it. Go ahead. Not stopping you. But no,
that one is limited though. There are now 4 left.
Oh,
there
wow.
were 5.
Mm-hmm. But why don't I move on to the other one I wanted to talk about too, because I could probably kind of like be impressed by this one for a lot. I want to talk about New Aether. I'm probably pronouncing it horrible. It is funded.
New Aether, mechanics, mutations, and magic.
Yes. It's basically playing in a video game RPG world in a tabletop setting. So a lot of those weird video game tropes, like you're going to that farmer, or they say you can buy an unlimited supply of like cheese and bread, even though they have like a tiny plot of like wheat and 1 cow. Stuff like that. And there's like a lot of video game tropes. It's a video game world RPG, which is like, it's such an interesting take on a tabletop RPG system. Yes. Yes, for that much you can make your own book with blackjack and hookers. You could. That is accurate. Yeah, no, this was a very interesting one because it's sort of like, I like the idea of it just because it's a different form of RPGs, because we talk about, like you've got your video game RPGs and your tabletop RPGs, and oftentimes when they meet, it's more like, they're adapting the tabletop RPG to the video game world. So it makes sense as the tabletop one. And this way, we're taking a more generic video game world that has a lot of tropes of the classic, probably JRPGs, if we think about it, like Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, and we're throwing it into a tabletop form. So it's if you've ever wanted to play like one of the old Dragon Warriors or Breath of Fire or something. Apparently there shouldn't be a world hunger issue because that one plot can feed a whole tavern, whole world. But apparently there's also like some kind of strange goo that's like, it's like apparently a bunch of floating island world, which is always cool. They've done floating island worlds a lot of different places. And there's some kind of strange mutation aether, they call it, which regrows bodies, mutates people, allows new spells to be cast. So it's you have mutations and magic from being exposed to that. Plus then you have like mechanical augmentations. So there's probably that level of like Magitech steampunk that you get from things like Final Fantasy 6/3, depending on if you're Japanese or US. Japan or US. It uses player difficulty tiers necessary for players to roll 2d6 and get their relevant ability scores. Various mutates augment rolls, things like that. While the game avoids player death, it does like player carnage. Each limb has its own HP value, and the core designs of the game allows players to lose limbs. Replacements can be got in the form of mutations or mechanics, robotic technology made to contest the mutations.
Hey, I'm all for games that you can cut body parts off.
And replace them with robotic or mutant versions of them.
Or robotic laser foot. Or robotic stud foot.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Shambling Vargas.
Yes, poor Vargas had a lot. I am going to also save their playtest copy here, which they have a copy of. If it will allow me. It will.
Playtest!
Yeah, I have to get more of these playtests, and we have to finally start doing, like, playtest sessions or something.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Plus I'm a rogue. I'm an artless, legless human. Plus I'm a rogue. Well, we can solve that. A little mutation, a little bit of cybernetic augmentation, and you're good to go. Now you could be roguing just like you used to before. So they've hit their primary goal. Let me see here, because I have to refresh these to go. They are $10 off from their first stretch goal, which is 10 more creatures in their bestiary, which will give 36 creatures. They could actually reach some of the upper ones, which is like 10 more worlds, so they got 30 islands to visit. And their 2,000 stretch goal is options for more mutations, magics, and mechanics increased by 10. So there's a lot of cool things here. You can get the PDF for 10. They also did apparently a game called Generations. Don't ask me about that, but it's something. Wow, that's how dwarfs were made. Baby lips. For a $5 pledge, you get a PDF of it. It's got 5 left of 30 for early backers. So you could very easily, for $5, just to get a PDF copy of the book. It is funded. You can get a hard copy for 20. Pretty simple as that one. A standard color, 30 for a premium color. And there were some early bird copies for the standard and premium that were already gone. The conversations in chat have just become weird. I really have to also set up like chat to show up here in like somewhere around here, like below us or something, so people can see this when they're watching the video after. I have it on other streams where you can see the chat, but we really need it here for this one. I'm sorry.
We get some very interesting chats at times, yes.
This one's just going weird. But no Anther, it's one I definitely would recommend checking out. You can check out their kind of test rules, their play test rules now. It's available, and it's got a whole lot of pages to it. So, I mean, again, it won't be the finalized version, but it will be enough for you to check it out, see if you're interested in it, and have a little fun with it. So, what? Okay, I'm just gonna move on.
I'm lost on that one.
I'm thinking we're implying that James, there's something wrong with him, but that's beyond the point. So it's time for consult the table. Oh no, it's time for our week in gaming in tabletop. God,
Consult our weekend gaming.
Joe, do you have anything?
Not much. Just our board game session last Saturday.
Accurate. What did we play?
I'm trying to remember. We played Wicked Apples.
We did do Wicked Apples.
Which I ended up killing you and my girlfriend in the same round.
Yep, you were effective. One move to murder us both.
Yes. Let's see. What did we play after that? We did Unfair.
We did Unfair. Oh, Yes, I saved a bunch of con save. Did I save the same? I thought I made the cons. Which times did I fail? Dang.
I don't know.
I have to remember now. Well, it wasn't like last week where I failed so much. That was epic failure. This week was just like failure.
You did kick butt though in unfair.
I did kick butt in unfair. I just like whipped the table with unfair. Then my next gaming would have been after I got sick, and oh, that's right, I did get sick. And then it was Wyrm's game on Tuesday, where I continued to be Tools, the best character of them all, the Sverfdamelin barbarian rogue.
Who's Russian?
Who's Russian, and now has magic powers, because it's dance magic dance. No, I love it because...
You became David Bowie?
Well, the thing is, I said, like, I make comments on every little thing that I put on my character sheet. And so, like, when I click on them to show up in Roll20, it includes the comments at the bottom. And, like, when I put, like, the the Sverfdamelin Blagic feat, because I was able to get that, I had Dance Magic Dance at the bottom of that. But there's other ones, like... because I'm playing a female character, I had a red dress or something that I was like, sews off my assets, and then I bought a blue dress for the other female character, and I'm like, it's not as good as my dress, but you know what? Or like, my comments are just like, I can't remember them all, but they're just so like bad but wonderful, and I keep putting them in on every item. Gosh. Also, I made a stew out of spider eyes, and made with a stock from an ogre bone, and I added a gibbering mouth or tooth to it.
That sounds horrific.
It actually was edible. I made a cooking check and I rolled I got like an 18.
And why did you add a tooth?
Because we had one, and it was flavoring. It was still gibbering.
Oh God, you make my brain hurt.
Well, I was doing it because apparently my religion is sort of like, you know, you could like devour parts of your enemies in order to gain their strength kind of thing, and that was the entire thing, you know, like the eyes of the spider in order to gain its vision. And I was going to go for, like, the heart or something of the ogre, but I failed to butcher it correctly, so I just took a rib. And I flavored it with ogre rib. And it wasn't... And then Tib's character got drunk, and the one character ran away, and then we had, like, you know, escapades in town. Escapades were a good way of describing it. Not anymore. It used to have a mouth, and then we killed it. Well, then we killed it because someone thunderwaved.
How does a tooth gibber, though?
Well, it was a gibbering mouther, so I'm assuming it still makes noise, is what I said. You know? So I have a bag of teeth that still make noise. And I got the bonus tooth, because I found it when we were eating, so I slammed it into the table, sort of like slamming the cup or something, you know, after drinking. But it's also like... The gibbering mouther weren't originally made of people, but they ate people. I'm pretty sure the ogre ate people, too. And maybe the spider would have eaten people. So everything that we ate probably had some people in it. Just saying.
But not your people.
But not my people. You know.
So you're not a cannibal.
No. I've only met one Sverfdamelin. And 2 Dragonborns, one of which is a terrible Dragonborn, which is so horrible because he's silver. And the other was a wonderful one because he's I think, blue. Or green or something. Because I was back to cannibalism. Indirect cannibalism, thank you. It's like eating the tiger, which ate a bunch of people. It's indirect cannibalism. You're not actually eating the thing that ate people. But you're not eating the people. You're eating the thing that ate people.
People who eat people.
I forgot about indirect cannibalism. I'll have to bring that up next time, next Wednesday. But nope, and they should never let me speak, and I always speak. And that's the best way to say what my character does.
So, duct tape.
They haven't invented it. And one of them had my mouth covered for a while. I kept going like, "We're not how to do this." I was like, "Thank you for having us here. That is very nice, comrade." It was hilarious because I kept going. Oh man, it was fun. It was fun, and we hey, look, I cut out important parts and used it to make a soup. But I also included root vegetables, and I used a little bit of beef parts to help, thicken it up. Because one ogre rib would not be enough for a decent stock. That's why you also had to have some beef bones in there.
Or you could use more ogre bones.
I only grabbed one rib. Which I could maybe, like, forge into a dagger or something. I don't know. I'll do something awesome with it. People herbs. No, I used normal herbs, thank you much. I spent a gold on that stew. Well, technically 2, because I paid a gold to the chef or the barkeep who let me use his kitchen.
I must say, I have to say, the British pronunciation makes more sense. It's herbs because there's an effing H in it.
Herbs?
Herbs.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I agree with the British people. Herbs. I can accept herbs that grew in a grave. Yep, I can accept that. It makes it more delicious. Much more delicious.
You're delicious, boss.
But no, that was I guess my big gaming other than playing the game with you. And it was indeed fun. So, I can definitely say it was a good game to do. So, why don't we move on to our last section for today to finish up Consult the Table. For those of you in chat, this is a segment where if you have any kind of questions related to tabletop in general, anything you want to know about, anything you want to ask, now is the time to ask us. You can also let us know during the week at discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. You can also tweet to Joe or Wyrm. You can also reach me in the Discord. Any of these ways are great ways to contact me about, questions related to tabletop. Some of them I can answer right then and there. Some of them we will, but some things, are good discussion questions or might require us to discuss things, and we will answer them here in the chat.
If James was a herb, what kind of herb would he be?
And how could we eat James?
I would suggest an apple in the mouth and a slow rotisserie over a fire.
Well, I think it was if it was an herb. Maybe something that's got a little bitterness to it, while still being, good. That's the way I describe James. A little bit of bitter while still good. He's that kind of pill you have to swallow sometimes. He's a good guy, but he can have, like, a snarkiness? Would snarkiness be the way to describe James?
Yeah, a little snarky.
Yeah. Tantus Bane. Nah, if there's one, oh god, that would be our friend Justin, who we've had stories about. He is Tantus Bane.
Yes, he would be Tantus Bane.
Because I cannot roleplay with that man for the life of me, because A, when he GMs things, it's not my style of gameplay, and B, when he's a player, he is extreme power gamer. He finds ways to break the game. Not that there are, something like Pathfinder, which is his favorite, there are plenty of ways to break the game. He seeks out new and interesting ways to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, like the sorcerer that has an apprentice that can have an apprentice that can have an apprentice that can have an apprentice.
Or what was it? The gunslinger that got 6 attacks?
Yeah.
Around?
Yeah.
Using, and they were only like 8th level or something at the time.
Or wait. Or the wizard that could not die.
Well, that was the sorcerer, and it was hilarious.
Oh, so sorcerer tank.
Sorcerer tank was hilarious. Yeah. Oh, great. There are a billion ways to break Pathfinder, and it's up to 2 things: a good GM who will make sure the players aren't breaking Pathfinder, and 2, be a reasonable human being and not try to break it.
A good player who actually reins themselves in, like I did when I did Artificer.
Yes.
I actually did not abuse the powers that they got.
Yeah.
Since it was a third-party one.
That was very abusable. Third-party Pathfinder Artificer is so abusable. But
But
Joe,
I played it decently. I went a little extreme at times, but never completely over the top.
God, yeah. Yeah, that'd be like a half dragon, half god, half elf. There are some weird things you can do in Pathfinder. I don't think I've ever quite seen that extreme of a combination, but I feel you could have done that in 3.5 somewhere along the way. Especially
It was a
with third-party
one-eyed,
stuff.
one-horned, flying purple people eater.
Pathfinder had templates made things weird, and level adjustments made things weird a lot of times. So you had to oftentimes get rid of those things. And Pathfinder has a lot of that, but even without the level adjustments, without the templates, you can still go weird with some of the random character options you can drag in from their billions of books. And we're not even talking third party, because third party throws things out the window.
You also learned about adding templates to people as a DM.
That was my 3.5 experiments.
Yes.
My 3.5 experiments are lots of lessons I learned in my old days that I since way avoid. Oh, half dragon, half dragonborn in 5e. That'd be interesting to play. I don't know how you would play that, because I know I had my first 3.0 game, I had someone be a half dragon when I did not know the extent of what half dragons would get.
Yeah.
So it definitely ended up not good.
How about a half dragon dragon?
That's actually something you can do, dumb enough as it is. It's
Your parents were two different dragons.
What was it? Chad made for the one game, which I don't think it was after the Faerun game, before the second Faerun, that was the second Faerun game, which you weren't in?
I think I was in part of it.
Yeah, you were in part of it, but it was it was something the Brown. He took a dragon and he added genealogy of dragons to come up with all the half dragon templates of all the normal ones.
Oh God.
Yeah. It was ridiculous, because he was able to put 8 half dragon templates of different dragon colors on one actual dragon.
I think the worst I ever did was I forget the name of the race, the crystalline people.
Oh yeah, the Nera.
Who was a half dragon.
Half crystal dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, half crystal dragon whose weakness. No, it wasn't. Was it crystal?
Yes.
Okay. Its weakness was
I think it's
sonic.
gem, technically.
Yeah, it was gem. And his weakness was sonic, but the gem dragon was immune to sonic.
Yeah. So it's no weakness. Well, I give it to Chad because he at least mapped out the entire genealogy of the dragon and made it make sense as to why it would have all those templates. As dumb as that sounds. It's so dumb sounding, but he managed to actually put in the work to design the monster rather than just throwing together. It's this is why he's the bastard son of a billion different dragon types, which should not have gotten together, but they totally did.
Hybrid silver blue dragon. He is a silver dragonborn with a sorcerer dragon bloodline of blue.
That's kind of interesting. That's kind of cool. It's the combinations even in 5th edition are very cool, what you can do. And I definitely know that, Pathfinder has plenty of flaws when it comes to character creation, just because there's too many options.
Well, it came from Pathfinder came out at 3.5.
And it has echoes of that.
Right, and remember when it first came out, we referred to it as 3.75.
Yeah. And I know it's one of the reasons that Pathfinder does not have the same... It has had a popularity because it was better than 4th, but it doesn't have the same kind of popularity that 5th edition has now had. Because 5th edition is just a simple, quick, easy system when it comes to D&D role-playing. And that usually is a good thing to have. So.
Yes.
Yeah. There's some really good spin-offs of Pathfinder, definitely, though. Alright, though, we're approaching our, well, it's technically approaching 3 o'clock, but we started definitely a little late, so we're not doing too bad. But we should probably head off for today.
Yes, do you want me to promote?
I mean, sure, go ahead.
I'm not pimping you.
Okay.
I'm pimping my game again.
Yes.
So, again, as I announced last week, I am interested in trying to do a stream of the role-playing game that I wrote, which is called Underworld. Quick synopsis again. It's set in the 1930s, 40s Chicago mob rules, but with vampires, aliens, and mole people. And it's a unique, I think it's a very unique system. It still needs a little tweaking. That's why I want to start running it and finish fleshing out some of the flaws. Main thing is the two-hit system that I want to do, because I do want to be able to actually shoot off body parts. I want it to be a little bit more realistic.
We can check out, because I got that play test of New Aether and see how they do their limb removal. Maybe use that to help out edit yours a little bit too. Sort of hybridize some of their ideas or something. Because, again, like, the best ideas are taken from other people, as it is with most role-playing games.
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in test playing, please tweet me. I'll be happy to, get... I know Matt's going to probably join in, because he's probably going to host the stream anyway for me.
Yes.
And he's played it before, so he has some idea of what, how the game goes. It's been close to a decade since we really jumped into it, so...
I'll ask around, too. I have to remember to do that.
Yeah.
So, cool. Excellent. And I'm so glad we didn't drop a lot of frames today. Oh, my God. I've had frame drop problems on all the streams. And I only dropped 60 today, which is really nice. Judging that I had to upload my last stream of Fallout, which fortunately was a small one because I was still pretty sick. Entirely. Because every time I edit it into Lightworks, the sound was actually where it should be, but the video stretched out by like 10 minutes.
Okay. Weird.
Well, it's also like, when I looked at it, like most of my streams, what I do, record at technically 29 frames per second for some odd reason. Unfortunately, they don't hit that 30, which I really want them to. It's some kind of error that I've been unable to correct. This one recorded at 27.
Oh.
So my last Fallout stream, it goes along with that one PUBG stream that I never uploaded because it was just an abysmal amount of like frame drops and other problems.
We never have technical issues on this channel.
Never. Anyway, for my promotion, I will probably be back tomorrow, at least with some stuff. I'm not sure of the exact schedule. I don't even know if I'm going to my grandma. I think we're supposed to be going to my grandma's tomorrow, as long as the snow doesn't get too bad. It's not supposed to get too bad. It should be clear tomorrow. I don't know my schedule completely for tomorrow. Monday should be Once Upon a Misadventure coming back for the multiple week event, basically, that I'm planning out. We should hopefully start with that. Next week should be back to normal schedules, hopefully. I should be hopefully getting some more... start getting back to normal video schedule out on the channel today, hopefully. I'll at least try to get one out, if not a couple out, since it's been a little, like, I haven't been great, and I'm starting to feel better, It's sort of like I was really sick at the beginning of this week, and just kind of terrible, generally speaking, for a good chunk of it. So, at least I've been doing some streaming. And Subnautica will come out when I finish editing that, because that's having some sound issues. But that's sometimes normally happens. But this one's abysmal enough that I'm cutting out a whole bunch of stuff and fixing it up. And I'm about a quarter of the way done that, fixing those. So making it so at least the sound's mostly lined up, So, if anybody else, you can... Okay, for everything else that's there, you can always check out the VOD of this up next week on my YouTube channel, which I'll have a lot of the contents up there. You can join me on social media. You can check me out on Twitter or Discord for updates on the various things. You can join us in Discord for chat. For more support, you can subscribe here. You can join Patreons, like Unfunny One has, our first Patreon. So thank you once again, Unfunny One, for being the first Patreon of the channel. Hope you... I will let you know about all the upcoming events for that, related to that, though. So, that'll be important for that, for the Patreon level you're at. I'll plan that out soon, I think that's everything I'm remembering, because I'm forgetful.
Yeah, I think you covered everything.
Cool, awesome. So I'll be back tomorrow. We'll both be back on Monday, hopefully with Wyrm and Tiv then, for Once Upon a Misadventure. And expect me to start throwing together more RPG streams soon. I have some big plans for them. I'm going to start trying to organize them heavily, basically starting this weekend, and try to get at least 1 or 2 of them together, the rest when we can. All right, everyone, thank you all for joining me. We'll be back next week for more Discussing Tabletop, and you'll see us all throughout the week for various other shows. We'll see you all when we see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.